Okay, we're good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, call to order the meeting of Tuesday, May 27th to order. I ask that all have not signed in, please do so. Please turn off all cell phones and other electronic devices. Please conduct any private conversations in the hallway or outside. Emergency exits can be found to your right and to your left. This meeting is also live streamed via YouTube with text commenting available. This time, if you please join the town board in the salute to the flag. Brief announcements. I wish to declare Councilman Cusimano necessarily absent this evening. For the month of June, we have 5 employees celebrating birthday, starting with Adam Rysek on the 5th, Aaron Brandt on the 6th, Wesley Dow on the 7th, Town Clerk Karen Bodine on the 8th, Town Councilman Dave Condon on the 16th. Happy birthday to all of those. The next town board meeting will be held on Monday, June 9th. This is a pay bills meeting only. We might have one resolution for your consideration, which is a time-sensitive one. The second meeting is Monday, June the 23rd. Early voting will take place here in the main meeting room starting on Saturday, June 14th, and run through Sunday, June the 22nd. Primary day is Tuesday, June 24th, Father's Day on June 15th. Town facilities will be closed on June 19th for Juneteenth or Freedom Day. And resolutions 1 and 2 this evening have been pulled. The candidate for the MEO position on Resolution 1 has rescinded his acceptance of this position this morning. And the background information is incomplete at this time for the part-time seasonal position, which was resolution number 2. At this time, public hearing. Ask our town clerk to please introduce the public hearing.
A public hearing to amend a one-time charge for new connections to the Consolidated Sewer District scheduled for May 27th, 2025 in the Victor Town Hall, 85 East Main Street, Victor, at 7 p.m., was published in the Daily Messenger newspaper on May 18th, 2025. Written comments were also directed to the town clerk's office on or before May 27th at noon. None were received.
Thank you. At this time, we'll ask if there's any members of the public here to speak for or against the one-time charge for the new connections for the Consolidated Sewer District. Again, we'll ask if there's any public comments. Hearing none, entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving to this evening, the meeting minutes that are before you. We have meeting minutes from May the 12th and then a special executive board meeting on April the 3rd. And for your consideration, whether you want them blocked or you want them individually.
Block them.
Okay. Councilman Condon, do you want to offer those two?
Offer them for block, so moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next, we'll ask the town clerk to introduce manifest number 10, please.
Manifest number 10 for 2025 in the amount of $398,946.72 has been reviewed by the Victor Town Board with the following accounts charged: General Townwide, General Outside Village, Parkland Trust Fund, Highway Townwide, S&S Consolidated Sewer Fund, and Trust and Agency.
Thank you. Starting with payment number 1, payment to Barclay Damon. This invoice also has chargebacks. Total town cost is $14,616.85. Payment number 2, Bluestone Creek Development, May rent for Parks and Rec. Next is CP Ward, Pump Station 11, a partial payment. Next is ESP Consulting, Grant Writing Services, Payment to Excelis for the June retiree healthcare integrated system, IT and security equipment. Payment to Labello Associates, which also includes chargeback to developers as well as a Pump Station 11 administrative cost. Lincoln Financial, Employee Dental, Mirabito Energy, April and May fuel, New York State Comptroller, April court fees, payment to Ravenwood for the Victor Awards luncheon, Relcom, new phone system, and RG&E. Total of the above-mentioned expenditures is $356,401.25. Total town expenditures minus the previously mentioned expenditures equals $42,545.47. Are there any questions on this evening's abstract?
So moved.
Okay. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Privilege of the floor. We had no request for privilege of the floor. Moving to public comment and concerns, an opportunity for members of the public to offer comments to the town board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want to subtract off a minute, I'll understand, because I wanted to hand those to you, but, so thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I talked with Susie and I talked to Richard about this already, and they thought it was a good idea for me to kind of do an informal proposal, no vote, of course, on what I'm going to ask. But there's a lot of stuff going on the internet these days. Most of you are aware when you do Google searches, a lot of times you'll find businesses that are not in business anymore, or you'll find business directories that are inaccurate or incomplete. And with concern to Susie, first, before I say anything, she is doing a phenomenal job as a website developer myself. I know how hard it is to actually have everything come together and work and getting things updated and all that, so just hats off to her. Going beyond that, though, I know my understanding is that the town decided not to use Civic Engage for listings. It's very challenging and frustrating even to get businesses and organizations to give you the proper information, and also the town should be doing it even-handedly, and if they're going to list any, they should list all. So the combination of those two things sort of stalled out that effort. If you look at the Civic Engage on the town website, although it's highly ranked, it sort of shows that Victor doesn't have much going on. And I think that's not a positive. And so when I was looking to do Destination Victor New York, I did a lot of research. And because I only have 3 minutes, I'm not going to go into all that. But the main thing is I would hope that you would look at the website. I don't know if Susie's ready to put it up. She said she might be able to do that tonight. And if not, then I'll just keep talking. Before she does it, Jack Marin knows what this is. I'm sure of it. Jack, look here. You know what that is, right? That's old school when you did sales, right? So I bought these in September, and I did a lot of walking to get this off the ground. I am not in favor of artificial intelligence being capable of doing everything that we want. You need real intelligence. My wife is a semi-retired legal secretary, and she just grabbed a hold of it, and along with what I can help her with technically to develop websites, we've got over 60 listings so far. Victor Hiking Trails, we've got the mall, we've got Fire on Main, we've got TK Pizzeria. I won't go over the whole list, but hopefully you can look and see that this is a very professional website. The advantage to it, And why I'm bringing this up tonight, and I know I might be close to 3 minutes, and the attorney's going to tell me that, but that's okay if that's what happens. But I don't know if you're giving me more time, but I'm trying to be fast. So the advantage of this kind of a website for Victor, you'll find in the handout, but primarily is that it helps out rankings of everybody who lists with us. So for new businesses in particular, to have any kind of highly ranked website and a link going out is a plus for Google ranking. Google ranking and Bing ranking is very hard to get. A lot of times the businesses come and go before they even get found. So this website will help that. The other thing is it's dedicated to Victor, New York. Now, if you look online and you find maybe TripAdvisor and you're looking up a cafe or whatever one you might find, you're going to find that the first thing they do is advertise something in Fairport or Canandaigua or some other place. So yes, Google's doing a good job and Bing is doing a good job, but having a website like this with listing services is a very good thing. So this is the part, though, that I talked to Susie, and she said if it was done this way, it would probably take her 10, 15 minutes a month. And that is that these are, it's already more comprehensive than the town website for Civic Engage. It's going to be the most comprehensive and most accurate website for Victor, New York. That's our mission. That's our goal. We're off to a good start. And with that, if we provide an Excel sheet with whoever decides to list with us monthly, Susie doesn't have to take the blame if something's wrong, which was important to her. If things aren't right, I believe I'm speaking right. She can tell you later if I'm wrong, but I believe that basically, by hiring on a professional service, web developers, providing the links, knowing that these businesses are in business, knowing that the information is accurate, will be a huge help. And maybe, perhaps, all of a sudden, Civic Engage, because it's top ranked already, will have more and more and more listings. I think there's probably 500 to 800 businesses when you count the in-home businesses. Elevate Videography is an in-home business. Barn Door Enterprise is an in-home business. And also, beyond that, it gives us, in the free market system, it gives us a little more leeway to do things like, doing events for everyone, churches, not-for-profits. And so here's the thing, and I'll stop here, but this is just for your thought. But if you think it's worth my time to actually come up with a formal proposal, I will do that. But the thought that I want you to have is, if you were to pay for 100 listings and it was $20 each, it'd be $1,000 spend. Susie said it might not be able to come out of her budget, so, between Richard and Susie, perhaps you could figure that out. But to try me out, and then I can list all the not-for-profits, all the churches, all the, non-business entities, and that would be something the town would be doing. If that works out well, then you might contract with me for more. So I hope I did a good job with the presentation, and like I said, I'm not looking for a decision, I'm just looking for your consideration. And that's it. Have a great day.
Thank you.
If you have questions, I'll take them. Is there anything?
Good.
No? All
I
right,
think we're
thank you
good.
for your time.
Thank you. Any other members of the public?
I'm back again. Scott Riley. Same complaints. I'm looking to see if there's been any movement in the last 2 weeks since I last appeared here, specifically around the data gathering of speeds from the flashing signs, getting the flashing signs uniformly operating, so they're all reading the same way and are in concert with the current speed limits. If any of the warrant work has been begun or considered. So I'm here for a status update from anybody.
So the warrant work will not take place until all the bridges are done, till High Street
None of
done?
the warrant work.
None of them. So that'll be September the earliest, is my understanding.
Even like the crash data,
By the what?
crash data, that's one of the warrants, warrant number 8,
Yeah,
or number 7.
they'll commit when the bridge work's done, then they'll do it then.
What about the data gathering from the flashing lights that we have currently?
I gotta be honest, I haven't followed up with the highway superintendent and on that.
Is there anything I can do?
No, I'd rather, it's gonna be through the highway department, and certainly anything internally or anything working with our law enforcement agencies.
Well, law enforcement has said that pretty much they can't do any more than they're doing. They're absolutely maxed out.
I did put in another request for the state police as well and the sheriff's department, and, you know, it's tough. It's, you know, I can't put bodies that they don't have, you know, and
And
just,
so that's why I'm coming to the town board.
yep. So, unfortunately, I have nothing more to share with you at this point.
Can you give me a date when I can plan on having some progress?
Well, the warrant, probably, I would assume, we're not going to do that for months anyways. And the crash data may be something we can explore and see what that, excuse me, not the crash data, the flashing lights from the speed.
All right. And as I was driving down here today, I actually counted the crosswalks between Lane Road and Main Street. There are 4 of them, including ones that have flashers on them. There are none from Lane Road up to Valentine, none. So does the town have any ability to put crosswalks in?
I would defer to the highway superintendent. I think when he usually responds, it's usually based on citizen input that we've heard from people that we're a walker, we'd like one, or maybe working with the Parks and Rec and the Victor hiking trails. Those are usually when they put those crosswalks. The ones up by the school were certainly a direct result of the number of years ago. We had a sidewalk grant, and that was all part of it, walkability, and followed up with that with the crosswalks.
So should I contact Mark? Work
You
with
can
Mark?
contact your Mark, or Mark can speak to you right now if he chooses to.
So there isn't any crosswalks up in, from Lane Road up to High Street, so that's why there isn't any, there's no sidewalks, I should say, sorry. There
There
are
are
side,
intersections.
yes, but there's no sidewalks for the people to walk on, so that's why there is no crossings.
Because they all walk on the shoulders,
Correct.
and there's a lot of them.
But we don't put crosswalks in unless there's actual sidewalks.
Anything else, sir?
Oh. So should I petition the people, the residents of the area?
You could certainly do that, sir.
I know I can. I don't want to wear out a pair of shoes. But is that the only way we're going to get any other movement here?
As I said to you before, I know you had asked about sidewalks. That was a no back in 2014, I think it was, and I don't think things have changed on that.
Okay.
I mean, there's no question, when I come up Gillis now to turn down High Street to head to school, there's a car barreling over the hill. I look at my speedometer, and I'm going 42 miles an hour. And they get irritated, right? Because
Oh, yeah?
they want to come flying over that hill.
Yep.
And we do have, and I would say at least twice a week, there's either a state police or there is a county sheriff sitting back in the Willowbrook church parking lot. And I think that they've been successful with a
Oh,
little
they're-
ticketing.
They're very successful.
What's that?
They're very successful
Yeah,
over
and
there.
but I think the issue, the thing that is frustrating for us, and I think one of the things that's really frustrating for you, is that, and Karen has said this too, we could ask them to reduce, right? And if you're going 40, that's appropriate, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the deal. The deal is, if you're going the posted speed limit on our roads, whether it's 40, 30, 55, it's appropriate. But we know that 55 means 65, 40 means 50 to 55. So the only thing, I think, and Mark's point is, you're not going to put crosswalks where there aren't sidewalks. And I think the only thing that we can continue to do is, you know, we do pay for 25 hours a month for extra law enforcement, predominantly for traffic in certain areas. And I think right now, and I agree with Supervisor Marin, the warrants wouldn't be valid until we go back to our normal traffic patterns.
No argument, no
So
argument.
I think, you know, to do something now would be fruitless, and I think we need to wait and then look at the warrants seriously at a later date when we get back to our 4 underpasses all being open and operating on a regular basis.
Do we have an idea when that will be?
Well, I heard there was a delay on the 2 that they're working already.
Correct.
And I think probably the other 2, it's going to be very interesting, because I think they'll be into High Street and Brownsville well into the school year starting in September.
Very good possibility, yes.
So I think
Well,
we're not waiting.
not before the end of summer.
They will not be done before the end of summer, I don't think. That's what I've heard. Mark?
You're spot on, yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I overstayed my welcome here. Have a good day.
Any other members of the public? Moving next to reports of town officials. Within your packet, you have the highway report. You know, recycling's been very busy. IT report. Planning and Building Department. Any questions on these 3 reports? Okay, they have, as well, just real quick, and actually this will help, on May 14th, Thruway Authority Road Detours in Victor, this is an update, report repairs, and which is on the town's website now. It has been. Repairs have been found to be more extensive than the Thruway originally planned for. Willowbrook Bridge will be at least 3 more additional weeks as of the 14th. County Road 9 will be 6 weeks to 2 months more. As a recap to the Victor Job Fair, which was held here last week, had a very good turnout. I think we had 17 businesses attend, so that went real well. Want to thank, as far as the EV charging stations in the back parking lot for the planning and building vehicle and for public use. A new pole was added to accommodate the Wi-Fi and for a new security camera for the back parking lot. I wish to thank Casey, Rich, Keith, Susie, and members of the Highway Department for the restoration of the grounds when completed. On Memorial Day, I wish to thank Kathy Rayburn, Gina Salomon, Caitlin Bailey, Steve Hendrickson. I wish to thank Councilman Condon and his 2 grandchildren for carrying the banner. Thank you very much, Councilman. And Councilwoman Ogra for purchasing the flags and introducing this new concept to the board last year. So I think that was certainly embraced by the families, and there's nothing like it. Each of you experienced putting a flag in some little child's hand and just seeing the expression on their face is priceless. So thank you. That's all I have. Board members, do you have anything you'd care to share with us at this time?
I do, Supervisor Marin. I've spoken to a few board members, and I just wanted to say something publicly so we can consider for future resolution, but I think it's time to raise the rec fee for new construction. As I've noticed that through COVID, our prices have increased, not only in labor costs, but also in construction costs, and we've done a very nice job of managing that money for projects, but I don't think that we haven't raised it. I think it's 2021, Rich sent me out the last time that we raised it, and we've seen some significant increases since then, and I would not be opposed to seeing that in the future. It doesn't burden our current residents in the town. It is a welcome to Victor. Thank you for coming to Victor. I think a lot of times the cost is rolled right into the cost of the new house. I'm sure developers build that in there. So I think, I'm not being small, but I think an extra $1,000 on some of these houses that they're building would be well-used money in our rec. And hearing nothing but wonderful things about our dog park and all of the things that Brian has done, his team have done over the years and continue to do. I just think it would be prudent to do that at this time. And I'd like to see it raised, right now it's $2,000, I'd like to see it raised to $3,000. I know Parks and Rec years ago were very enthusiastic and wanted 5, but we moved it from 1,500 to 2, but I don't think 3,000 would be unnecessary, an unnecessary increase. I think it warrants it. Just my opinion, I just wanted to share it. I think I've talked to every board member about it, and I just wanted to make that public.
Thank you. It seems to be the consensus. Yes, no?
I agree. I just had a question. How do we treat the park and rec fee for commercial buildings or apartment buildings? That might be, we don't have one at all?
Can the
Got the mic.
microphone, please? Thank you.
The current New York State statute, it's a planning law, does not provide for levying that fee in lieu of parkland as part of a commercial or light industrial development or retail establishment. It's only in a subdivision process approval.
Do you know about apartments or when we do PDDs?
It's apartments are per unit.
Per
Same-
unit.
The same fee. We looked at that, and the board felt at that time it would just stay with the same thing with units as a single-family home.
Okay, then yeah.
Owner-owned.
If they're rented apartments?
I don't believe that the town gets a rec fee for rental apartments.
Are we allowed?
I could be wrong, but certainly don't see that in the data that is given to me monthly from the clerk's office. I see only.
Are
that,
we
but
allowed to
We can
do-
clarify that.
Maybe?
I don't know the answer to that question.
I know that the New York State statute that's
Yeah.
provided within the planning is is a subdivision law, if you will.
Okay.
That's the way it's written within that, but we could research that more legally and see if there's a different way of interpreting it. But,
And typically, I believe, if we were to pass a resolution and there was a development already going up, it would still go into effect when that permit comes in for the new build.
for the C of O is when you take possession of that rec.
Correct, so it has nothing to do when the subdivision was started. It would be the new build every time, correct, Keith?
So yeah, the fee comes in when they pay for the permit itself, but yes, that is how we've always handled it.
And I assume that's true when you get a multifamily application
Let me
or
confirm
plan
on
being
that.
approved.
I believe so, yes, but let me confirm. I know with the sewer fee, when it's an apartment building, it's a different percentage. It's not literally one for one.
Yeah.
That's what I want to confirm before I answer that question.
Okay. Thank you. Good question.
I would be in agreement then, as long as we also put it on, if we can, apartments that are coming into the town, including those that are rented, not just to own. Those people are using our parks, they're using our trails, et cetera, so.
We haven't, in my time here, in 20-plus years I've been here, we haven't had an apartment complex approved through the planning board process. The village recently has, and they, as you know, have their own fee in lieu of parkland, and they assigned a flat fee to the developer of the Auburn Trail Apartments. I don't know, I might not be getting the
I know what
names
you're talking
right.
about.
They levied a flat fee, not a per-unit fee. But we haven't had
Yep.
a review of a project involving apartments in the
Well,
time.
we did have High Street. And I guess we could look to see if there was a fee charged, not High Street, the project behind.
Oh, High Point?
High Point, sorry.
Okay, yeah, I didn't review that, but
I think we could probably check the records to see if
Yeah.
there was a fee charged to, I believe the Rinaldis did originally get those approvals.
And when we do a PDD for apartments, would we have to include a recreation, or
We
a
could.
PDD for
Good.
homes, do we need to include?
it's typically a condition of the approval process. So
Okay.
during the negotiation of the approval process and the discussion in the public setting with the planning board, when they make their final finding of fact, whether it's providing sidewalks on certain sides of the streets or other amenities within the subdivision that are conditions of the approval, the finding of fact is also to assess the recreation fee or
Okay.
to waive it in certain circumstances.
Okay. This might be too in the weeds for a question right now, but for the project on Rawson Road, since that was a PDD, did we have and it
Yes.
was to own, did we
Yeah,
have a rec
so
fee?
again, that fee comes in when they pay for their building
Okay.
permit. So for each one of those townhomes, when they get that building permit, when we're collecting all of our fees,
Okay.
that fee comes in at that point. So the same thing with an apartment building. Whatever we're going to get for an apartment building would come in with the rest of their fees when they pay for the building permit for that apartment building.
Okay. And then for the one over by Fisher's, they changed from for rent to for own.
It's the
So
same
when they-
deal we've issued. I think Adam's getting ready to issue the second two. We've issued 2 building permits for townhomes there. We're about to
Okay.
issue number 3 and number 4. Same thing, when they come in to pay for the
Pay-
building permit, they pay that rec fee.
Okay.
And so same thing with those apartment buildings, but we have not gotten permits for
Well,
that
the
yet.
sooner the
Okay.
better, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Then I would definitely be in favor of it. Just would like to make sure it's
thank-
applied equally.
No, sounds like we got a little research to do, but thank you.
In the past, the board has taken up this measure when it levies its annual fees and charges, when your schedule of fees come out. But certainly with Frank's direction, you could do it at a different time
Yeah.
by resolution.
And both the recreation fees and the sewer fees that we charge are reflected in the clerk's monthly report.
Yep.
It's usually on the bottom of the,
Yes.
it'll have the number of units, or the number of individuals that paid, and then the dollar amount as well. Okay. Thank you. Moving to the resolutions.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had a few things. I'm going to jump in for our highway superintendent who doesn't know that I'm about to say this. But some exciting news out of the state budget. CHIPS was funded with $50 million more dollars. So the town will be receiving more money. I think the number I got on the runs was about 22,000. So while not a whole lot compared to how much it costs to, build and maintain roads, something is better than nothing. So thank you to Mark and his team for going up to Albany and helping to advocate on behalf of the town, and bringing home a little bit more money. As you talked about Memorial Day, wanted to tell everyone, we gave out 500 flags. That's the same that we had bought last year, although I think with the weather last year, we had many left over. And so actually, we had a little bit more than 500 we gave out because I brought the extras. So now I think hopefully we know for next year, if the weather's nice, we'll buy more. If not, we'll keep with the 500. But thanks to everybody who helped out and brought flags. The other topic I wanted to bring up was, I know a email went out about Narcan stations being put in all of the town parks. I just had, some concerns about putting it up in the town parks and some questions about the security. Because this decision was made outside of the town board, I thought maybe, we should have had some discussion as a town board to talk about should we or should we not put them in, even if they were, Narcan kits were free to the town. Still, I thought, because they were being put where the AEDs were in town buildings, and we did vote on the AEDs, we should also have at least a discussion about the Narcan. My other concern with putting the Narcan in there was, how is it going to be secured, especially at town parks and buildings? We have, residents, kids, et cetera, that might have open access to it. If the box is open, does it call 911 immediately? I think those are some issues that we need to have addressed so that, especially, kids will be kids. We don't want them getting their hands on, this is a medication that they might not need to, be playing around with, et cetera. So in the future, I'd like if those questions could be asked. If we are making decisions like this, if we could have them, to be discussed as a full town board, would at least be appreciated from this town board member. And then two other items. The village has a new member of their board of trustees, Matt Schneider. If anybody met him yesterday, he was at the parade. And we have a meeting tomorrow for the Dryer Road Park Replacement Committee, or whatever we're called, group, playground, task force, whatever term we've deemed it. And if anyone had any suggestions, thoughts to bring back to the group, I'll be in attendance tomorrow. The one thing I've heard from a lot of town residents would be more benches around the playground, as well as more shade around the playground. And then also a energy meeting tomorrow as well that Casey's gonna be heading up. So lots of things happening behind the scenes, great stuff.
Thank you. Michael, you good? I'm good. Dave?
Good.
Okay. Moving to the resolutions, and as stated earlier, 1 and 2 have been pulled. Moving to number 3, which is the authorization for the purchase of the 2025.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 4, agreement with Amy Oldfield for music instructions.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 5 is a request for certificate of liability insurance for Amy.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 6 is the appointment to the Parks and Rec Citizen Advisory Committee. This is filling the unexpired term of David Blood and
Move.
Gabe. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 7 is after the public hearing to move with the one-time charge.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
And number 8, we see these periodically throughout the year. This is a approval of acquisition of easement by the Monroe County Water Authority. This would be for 1561 Brace Road.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And again, we'll ask the public if there's any comments or concerns to bring to the town board.
Apologies, there was just one thing I forgot. Clearly a lot happened in the past 2 weeks. But wanted to make sure that everyone had saw that I had sent around, that the PDD that we had approved is now that land is being sold and advertised to be sold by D. Felice Development. So we'll say kind of disappointing on my end for D. Felice. That's it.
No one on YouTube and no one here, so we'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.